There was someone who asked why I wasn't dancing when we came out of the thing on the last show, and it's because when I'm on this side, I have to click the little thing that makes the theme stop. So that's why I wasn't dancing last time for the one person who cares. Hello and welcome to everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the WrestleTalk Podcast. I am here with the wonderful Sat and Yangi, a new combination of our wonderful NXT team coming together in this period of change and transition. But today we are going to be going over last night's episode of NXT and talking about this NXT Stand and Deliver main card. Pretty much everything has been revealed. If you want to have your thoughts read out on this show, make sure you send in your Ultrachats, $5 or above to WrestleTalk.com/support, and we will read out all of them before we go off the show today. Sat, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome to the NXT podcast. This is me handing over the whole show to you, basically. Let me just hear. This is for you, my friend.
I'm holding it gracefully in my hands. First of all, guys, it's a pleasure to be on the show. Finally, to do this, I feel like we bought a house, and SP3 had to check out the house first, and then I come in, to be like, yeah, I don't like the frame on that side. Can you move it this way? But it's a dream to do a show with Tempest. He's one of the most knowledgeable people that I know in the wrestling space. I'm still shocked to find out he's 5 years younger than me, but because he comes across very mature and very poised. That's why I'm shocked. That's the only reason why I'm shocked. It's great to be here. I've been debating whether or not to drop the E, because the E was my developmental gimmick. As we all know, when you go to the main roster, they strip you of the things that make you great and give you a new name. I just be Sat Nyangi or still Sat Nyangi, Yeah, so it's great to be here. I watched NXT for the first time in a few weeks. It still is American Pie, NXT 2.0. It's got the horniness that has become, synonymous with Shawn Michaels at NXT. But yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Well, I was struggling whether to go one way or the other when it comes to like the main talking point of this show, but we will talk about the NXT Stand and Deliver main card because we had this main event segment. We got a nice little main event match, a nice little NXT championship match on this show. Not one that I would think many people would expect a title change out of, as LA Knight challenged Dolph Ziggler. But after the conclusion of the main event, we had Braun Breaker showing up once again very angrily in his Dodge Challenger and just saying, I want my rematch at Stand and Deliver. So that appears to be the main event of Stand and Deliver. We also got announced on this show Cora Jade will be challenging for the NXT Women's Championship. We're going to get a three-way match for the NXT Tag Team Championship as Imperium will defend against MSK and the Creed Brothers, and we're getting Tommaso Ciampa against Tony D'Angelo, and then we got more stuff just figured out for the North American Championship ladder match. So, Sat, your biggest takeaway from all of that? It seems like most of the focus has most of this card has come into focus, is what I'm saying.
Well, I feel like the matches that you've mentioned is destined to be a great show. I can't wait to see NXT out of that cesspool known as the CWC. I'm a bit over it. Listen, I'm over the crowd's mild reaction. I'm over with the fact that it feels like a contained tuna can. That I want it to feel like, because I know NXT's changed. I know people mourn for it. I mourn for it. I'm over it. Actually, I didn't really mourn for it. I was ready for change because we all know Vince didn't like good things. So give him what he wants and let's see if that progresses and does well. At the moment, the wrestlers are progressing and doing really well. And then I can't wait. The match that I'm looking forward to is the North American ladder match. Although we don't have all the competitors yet, the people that have been qualifying thus far, they're great caliber athletes. As we saw that Santos Escobar has now qualified. He beat Cameron Grimes. So I'm looking forward to see who else will join him in that ladder match. And Carmelo Hayes has been hitting it out of the park. He's one of the highlights of NXT 2.0. And then we're going to see if A-Kid can beat Grayson Waller. But yeah, that's the match I'm looking forward to. Gunther, he hasn't been announced for a match yet, but based on, not trying to skip ahead, his interaction with LA Knight, he may have a match on the card then. What's standing out for you, Tempest?
Well, I think that will be very interesting to see the Walter versus LA Knight match coming together. I don't know if that's going to be like call them pay-per-views. I'll still call this like a pay-per-view or takeover. I don't know what I'm supposed to call these NXT shows, but this NXT Premium Live event, I don't know if that match will be on it, but I think that could very well be one of the better matches on the show if it is. I'm very much looking forward to this tag match. I think the Creed brothers are really good. I'm really kind of interested to see what a different setting does for like this whole show, because I like you, this setting for NXT to me still feels very pandemic wrestling. You know what I mean? And most other wrestling has gone back to the way things were with big crowds and everything. And NXT's weekly show didn't have like a big crowd to start with. But
No.
something about seeing them in this warehouse just does make me feel like the last 2 years are still just going. So, of course, I'm very much looking forward to the ladder match. I think that's going to be fantastic, especially if Santos Escobar is going to be involved. And then the main event should be fun. Overall, I think we're looking at a fun NXT card here. I wish it wasn't the morning of WrestleMania because that might sap some of my energy out of this, but overall, I think we still got a very fun main event to look forward to. I think this three-way tag match looks like it should be a lot of fun. And I'm very interested to see who makes it into this ladder match because, I mean, if I was booking it, A-Kid would probably beat Grayson Waller. But I know they've been pushing Grayson Waller real hard the last few months, so I don't necessarily think that's going to happen.
Unless, I don't know, unless someone from the main roster interferes, or you're right. Because I feel like if you're bringing A-Kid, go all the way with him. Because for a lot of people, they didn't watch NXT UK. That's the first impression. If you're bringing someone in, make him a big deal. Don't make him don't make him a bridesmaid. Make him the bride. Not like he came close. Because knowing HBK, he could model him after 1-2-3 Kid. Like this guy is an underdog, and then that's been done to death. Not everyone who weighs like 175 pounds should be booked as an underdog. You can still be a killer in the ring. So I'm torn. Grayson Waller has put in a great performance for his character work. He's not too bad in the ring. A lot of people say go with Grayson Waller, but I feel like A-Kid will add a little something to the ladder match. You got to think about the ladder match. You got to give the people what they want, man.
I agree, man. I agree. I really like what you said about just like him being small doesn't mean he has to be an underdog because like I've seen a lot of A-Kid matches. A-Kid is fan-freaking-tastic, man.
Right?
He could really be like the next kind of like, not saying Bryan Danielson, because no one's Bryan Danielson, but just in terms of like being like a small, believable technical wrestler, I think there's a lot that you could do with him. But that being said, he didn't even get an entrance on this show. He got a little promo package, and then they cut to him after Kushida's entrance, and A-Kid was already in the ring. Not a good start.
Tempest, I'm going to play devil's avocado. I'm known for doing this. Mm-hmm. Do you really care to see an A-Kid entrance? Do you? I know what you're saying. First impression, you want to see him come out. You want to hear his music. But he's not for wrestling, right? He's not about the pizzazz. You want him to come out and do one finger to the top or wave at the fans. You want to get straight to the action, right? I feel like in their minds, wrestlers' entrances is my opportunity to go take a piss break. They're like, no, here's the video package. Here's what it's about. Straight to the match. I understand. First impression's key, but at the same time, you want the match, right? Or do you want the entrance? Is he an entrance or is he a wrestler?
I've got a few different directions that I can take that because in their mind, to me, in their mind, the entrances are the important thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like we sit through Roman Reigns' entrance, like all 17 minutes of it every single week, because that's what they consider important. So if you've got a guy like A-Kid who's coming in, who's already getting his entrance cut, that just says to me that they don't really have that much in mind for him. And I agree. If this was like a Rampage situation where you start the show, they're in the ring because they're like, we don't want to waste any time. Let's give you the action. Let's go straight to the ring. That would be one thing. But I feel like it's more a case of like, well, we'd rather show who was before that. We'd rather show Wendy, Choo, and Dakota Kai backstage talking with Toxic Attraction than showing the new star. And that to me is where you kind of lose it because I would rather see the wrestling over the entrance, but I'd rather see the entrance of a new star over the video package backstage.
You're right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's true. Because at the end of the day, I just want to throw something out there as well. Like when John Cena debuted, right? Like this, just to line it together. His debut was he came out as some guy, as a rookie. He wasn't built up. He wasn't a video package, some special thing. He's just like, hey, it's John Cena. He's debuting his open challenge. Hopefully, they don't hold it against him. Hopefully, next week we get entrance. Oh, no, that might be his thing. You never see A-Kid's entrance, and you only get it on.
Maybe he doesn't have an entrance. Maybe he just shows up in the ring every week.
Right? Because today we saw something different. We saw a tag team that's feuding come out together. They're trying different things, guys. We always like different things. Yay? Maybe? No?
Maybe. If it works. I'm for new things if the new things work. Well, we're going to get into the rest of NXT, though, as we've kind of gone over our thoughts on Stand and Deliver. But we will read out a few of your Ultra Chats in the meantime. Of course, if you do have any of your Ultra Chats that you want to have read out on the show, make sure you get those in $5 or above, US dollars, of course, none of that Canadian crap. Send that into WrestleTalk.com/support, and we'll read out everyone $5 and above before the end of the show. Zoe Sung comes in with the first one saying, still really sad about Scott. But I learned yesterday NXT has a Sailor Moon magical girl character, and I love Sailor Moon, so it made me smile for a bit. Thanks, WWE. I mean it. Shout out to Saray. She didn't have a great night out there, but at least she was able to make one person a little bit happier.
That whole sequence was silly because when Mandy Rose 1.0, Tiffany Stratton, she's what Mandy was a few years ago, like down to the look and everything. Yeah, that I don't know. Are they trying to say when Saray doesn't use the amulet, she's not at full capacity, that anyone could slap her and take her out? Is that what we're portraying?
That is what I assume we're going with here. If she doesn't have her magical anime girl entrance as she walks through the smoke and comes out a different person, you could just smoke her, just absolutely demolish her. She's a non-threat if she doesn't go through her anime transformation.
I don't know how I feel about that. I love silly stuff. I'm all for it, but doesn't mean if she wins the NXT title, she can get jumped before her entrance. Is that what we're saying, guys? It's like the logic we're being portrayed because now law, it's not mythology, guys. Now Saray is weak without the amulet. You have to attack her now. Yeah. It portrayed Tiffany Stratton as a smart, cunning individual because she's a project for them, you know. Like I said, Mandy 1.0, she's still green in terms of character work. I see potential in the daddy's girl character, but she's still a bit hokey in some of her delivery. It's almost like, you know, that website you go to, the one you're not meant to go on, that level of acting at the moment. But she's got potential. I see her, she's like for me, because her background's like Alexa Bliss. She used to do, you know, gymnastics and stuff like that, and she's very athletic. She's got potential. Right now she's not really hitting it for me, but that also means she can go up to the main roster before Io Shirai.
Thinking on the bright side, I love it. Bubba232 has been a member for 11 months in a row and just wanted to send in a message to say all the love for Sat.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm happy to be back. I'm now relevant again, guys. It was a struggle for that 3 months. Start wearing a sock puppet just to be relevant on the screen, just to get you guys to remember me. But I'm happy to be back. Me and Tempest doing the show together. Tempest is one of the best. partsFUNknown, his videos are incredible. By the way, Tempest, you've been killing it. I understand why you have to take, you know, a step back from doing the show because you're doing a lot of other stuff. But guys, if you haven't watched it, partsFUNknown, Tempest is doing a lot more content on there, and he's really great. I like listening to him talk, and I like listening to him break down things, and I love video essays. I'm a sucker for it. Yeah, especially when people know what they're talking about. Tempest is one of them.
You're way too kind to me. Way too kind, my friend, but I appreciate it. Go subscribe to partsFUNknown if you haven't already. And Alistair Gammon has been a member for 5 months in a row, just wanted to say happy Stone Cold Steve Austin Day. Glad to have you on board, Sat. Tempest, the Leafs still suck. Hashtag jam that jam. I know that. You got to understand, nobody knows that the Leafs suck more than a Leafs fan. Oh, man. It's hockey, Sat. Look at those hockey players.
Hockey. Yeah, yes. That's a thing in Canada. We do outdoor hockey. That's our thing in the UK, allegedly.
Very, very fun. Very fun. Hopefully I'm gonna introduce myself to that at some point in the near future, perhaps.
Why not? When you come to the UK, yeah, definitely. Let's see if that translates for you. We do like Tempest, like testing it out. Indoor outdoor hockey. Is there a thing? Is it like amateur wrestling, pro wrestling? Is it like it's got wrestling or hockey on it, but it's nothing like it?
There's nothing to like. Absolutely, I can't wait. I really am excited for such things. We will get into the rest of your Ultra Chats as we get in towards the end of the show, of course. But if you have any of your thoughts that want to be read out on the show, $5 are up, and send that in to WrestleTalk.com/support. We will read out every single one before the end of the show. As for now, let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of this episode of NXT as we open with MizTV. Sat MizTV. It was fine. It was the Miz. He came out with the Dirty Dogs. Braun Breaker drove off. He drove around in a circle in a parking lot earlier. He was pissed off. they showed that footage. They're interrupted by LA Knight. LA Knight has a good promo. He sets up an NXT title match for later in the show, which we basically already talked about. There wasn't too much to talk about with the main event. It was just kind of like a really solid TV main event. It was fine, but didn't have that same heat that like the three-way match had.
It didn't. That's because it is just a built up. And if you've been following WWE social media or YouTube channel, you can see LA Knight and Dolph Ziggler's been planted for like a month. So I was happy they actually paid it off, because a lot of times it seems like what happens on the web page, on the main roster or developmental is not cohesive or aligned together. So I was happy that LA Knight brought that up. For me, we all know Dolph Ziggler can wrestle. LA Knight is still known as a promo guy. So for me, it was great for him to show out. He did some impressive move. He did some burning hammer type move towards the end. Didn't like the rookie mistake of having Dolph Ziggler so close to the ropes. But the thing that stood out for me for that opening promo segment is that LA Knight went bar for bar with The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, and he didn't seem out of place. He's someone alongside Cameron Grimes and Santos Escobar that should have been on the main roster after SummerSlam. They're guys that spinning the wheels, doing the same thing, not really progressing far. They should go to the main roster. I want LA Knight to be in the main roster for many reasons. The age quota. The guy, young kid, is 39, guys. He's 39 years old.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say, The Miz like, oh, well, you're not a superstar yet, kid. It's like, he's 39. Can we not do this?
To be honest, if they are writing, if scripts have been written for them, you have to remember the head guy's in his 50s. So anyone 39 is a kid to them. Vince McMahon is in 70s. 39 is a kid to him. So that's what happens when you got older people writing stuff. They're calling everyone kid. LA Knight, I want him to succeed, but he might have the Bobby Roode issue where he gets to the main roster a bit too late. You might give him a nice 6-month run, but wait, he's 40. Nah, forget the push, guys. Put him in a sunken place tag team and let him live out the rest of his pension and his run. So I want LA Knight to succeed, but if he does not win a world title in 6 months, I don't see him doing well on the main roster.
Yeah, I think that you're probably spot on right there, and it's disappointing, but I think you're right. We had the running bit throughout the show that Cora Jade is just a menace and stole all of Toxic Attraction's belts and then like would hide them throughout. I might as well go over these stupid segments now, because we had the first one where JC Jane gets stuck in like a janitor's closet, like, you know, the bit in the bottom of the school or the back of a building that has like the grated swinging doors that you lock shut, you know, you use storage area stuff. There's just one of the belts hanging in there. Like, they might as well had like a box with a stick holding it up with the belt underneath it. He's like, I'm going to catch me a JC Jane. Because as soon as she went in to go and get the belt, Cora Jade slammed the door shut. This was a rickety ass door. Like, I feel like one solid kick would have knocked this door over. But regardless, she was playing Mousetrap and she caught a JC Jane. And then later in the show, there was the second belt is like hanging on the back of a dumpster. So the only way to get this belt is to climb into the dumpster, get the belt, and then Cora Jade lowered a forklift on top of the dumpster, trapping Gigi Dolan inside. Okay, this is a wacky episode of NXT, but I'm following you. That's 2 members of Toxic Attraction taken out. Then Cora Jade has the galaxy brain idea to steal Mandy Rose's car. We were just kind of like locking them away for a little bit. You know, though they might be in there for like an hour, but it's fine. No, we went from that to Grand Theft Auto with Cora Jade just getting in Mandy Rose's car, and Mandy Rose was hanging out in the back seat for some reason. As you do. You ever go to work and you ever just go and lie in your back seat?
Yeah, of course, all the time.
Yeah.
It's a
Maybe
thing.
she needed to take a nap. Maybe Wendy Choo convinced her to take a nap.
Yeah, but that whole sequence was like, Cora Jade is now 21. 21-year-olds like to watch Home Alone. That's what it is. She's kooky girl. She is. Cora Jade, she's a project. I feel like she is going to be the face of NXT 2.0's women's division, because there hasn't really been. She's their Bron Breakker in a way, in a sense of like she's carrying on a lineage of previous women before her. Mandy Rose is just getting a career rehab. I don't know if she's going to stay in NXT past Stand and Deliver once she drops the title. I'm assuming the HBK's got the foresight to make her drop the title. But yeah, going to Gigi Dolan, the whole it stinks in here. If you follow Gigi Dolan's social media account, she doesn't mind, unpleasant smells. She's a self-proclaimed dirt squirrel. So her living room probably smells like the dumpster. So that for me was kayfabe in itself. Like, don't pretend you love that smell. You told us you love that smell. But yeah, Mandy Rose has been doing okay. Her reign's been okay. She's been she's shown like growth in the ring. Wrestling wrestlers in the ring has kept her reps up, and she's doing well. Is she great as a character? She can do one thing. She's, mean girl-esque sex spot. That's her forte. That's the best we're gonna get out of her. Yeah. B+.
I mean, I said like 6, 7, 8 months ago that this is Sable in 2022, and it's like it might not be as crazy lewd as Sable was in the Attitude Era, but I think a lot of people were hoping for like more character out of it, and I don't know. I think that is hoping for a little bit much. Like, yeah, she's done a good job with the character she's been given. It's more character that she's had on the main roster like ever, aside from the whole Otis thing. But otherwise, this is kind of the ceiling for the character, I believe.
Bingo.
That's fine, but it's also not a very high ceiling.
It's not. That's why my lack of enthusiasm, because she comes across as a low-key kind of person, and that character she's portraying, if you had a high key kind of persona to be over the top, which I don't think she can do, which is not her fault. I feel like she's the kind of person who should be a henchwoman, not a leader, if that makes sense. I feel like she'd thrive more from following someone that's larger than life, and she's like the laid back kind of person. But for me, the improvement upon an NXT is her getting better in the ring. That's the best thing. Her character work has always been the same, but now she's just getting a spotlight on her, and she's just fine. I see tons of other women that can probably do better, but she's just fine.
Yeah,
she's fine.
For a third brand, sometimes it's okay to be fine.
I guess
that's
so.
all it is. You can hope for better, but it is what it is. Yeah, Cora Jade got beat up for trying to steal Mandy Rose's car, and you know what? I didn't feel bad about it because
you should know it, didn't you? Tempest, it got to you, didn't she?
Like, by the end, I was just like, why are you stealing this woman's car? Like, yeah, she's gonna beat you up.
Stone Cold, she grew up, she watched Stone Cold YouTube. It's 316 Day. They're like, hey, let's pay homage to the greatest, felon to never get convicted. That's what probably happened, She's like, she's edgy, guys. It's the new generation. If the Attitude Era through the lens of the new generation.
Oh God, I hate that. I'm moving on from that quick. I guess the first match we had on the show was Santos Escobar versus Cameron Grimes. Pretty simple match, albeit it was like two of the best guys on the roster. So it was a very good, simple match. The basic story of it was that Legado del Fantasma kept trying to get involved. They cost Cameron Grimes, they cost him the heat for a little bit, and then he dove over them, hit a nice big dive on Santos Escobar, and then Santos Escobar caught the cave in and hit the Phantom Driver for the win. And a very simple finish, and it seems like they're going the direction that Cameron Grimes is a loser and keeps losing and can't help but disappoint everybody. But Santos Escobar qualifies for the qualifying ladder match, whatever, North American title, the whole deal. It was a good match. It was a good way to open up the show from an in-ring perspective.
Yeah, it was a really good match. I'm just annoyed at Cameron Grimes' progression. I mean, when he first came into NXT, he was actually portrayed as a killer in the ring. Cave-ins, his matches wouldn't go past a minute. If you remember, that guy was killing Harry. Cameron Grimes with just swampy kind of persona. He was killing it. Then he got money. He became more of a comedy figure, which I didn't mind. Now, does he still have money? Yeah, he comes up to the song, but now he's like losing. He's someone I've mentioned. He shouldn't be in NXT 2.0, and you can see it because the writers have done his progression as a character is done. Because NXT should be you're there for a year and you move on. He's been there for multiple years. It's like okay, he's a swampy character with a top hat. Okay, he's now won money. Okay, he's now babyface. He's been a butler. Okay, now we're having him lose, and then he can't. Cameron Grimes is a funny, upbeat character. Don't make him a mopey loser. Don't sap him of what makes him awesome. I'm just worried about where they're taking him because I don't know. Tempest, you usually have a better foresight of things. What are they doing with Cameron Grimes?
Well, I don't know what you could do with him at this point because he's been there and he's kind of wrestled everybody. Like unless Cameron Grimes is gonna end up being someone to like win the NXT championship, which I don't foresee being the immediate path that he's about to take. I'm kind of baffled by a lot of this because it's very tricky in NXT because the goal of developmental is not to have like a long running character who keeps inventing new ways of reinventing themselves and all that. That's not the point. The point is to get one character that works and then send them to the main roster with that character.
Yeah.
That in theory works, but of course we've seen time and time again with the main roster, like the Ascension are a completely different tag team in NXT, and then they get sent up to the main roster and they're Legion of Doom 3.0 or whatever. 4.0. So yeah, 4.0 Demolition. I don't know what Ascension was at that point, but we've seen it a million times since then. So when that keeps happening, like it does kind of defeat the purpose of like, okay, we found his gimmick. That's his character. Let's send him on his way. Oh, they're not using that gimmick anymore. So when you've got a guy like that who stays in NXT for like way longer than he probably should be, because Cameron Grimes has been here for almost three years, I think now. It was 2019 when they did the first breakout tournament. Like they just keep reinventing him. And again, that's the problem with NXT because people need to be moved along a lot faster than that. They shouldn't be going through full character arcs in NXT. You can go through one. That's fine. You can do your one character arc in a year and you do your Gargano Ciampa thing or whatever, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. There are tons of examples, but you don't need to then follow that up with another character arc because that's just how characters end up getting stale on this show.
Bingo.
Regardless, I don't know what's next for him, but he did a promo later in the show where he was very sad, and that makes me sad a little bit. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray want to beat Toxic Attraction. That's their goal. They're going to win this tournament and then beat Toxic Attraction because everyone hates Toxic Attraction. We got the Wendy, Choo, Dakota Kai backstage segment. Toxic Attraction. We're looking for Cora Jade. Dakota Kai and Wendy Choo are they're friends now. They like hang out.
What have they done to Dakota Kai? Listen, dude, you see it as well, right? It's not working. There's certain people that can pull off playing crazy characters. She's no Nikki Cross. It's so hokey. It's like I'm watching a theater stage production. I am Dakota Kai. I am portraying isms. I've got schisms. I am a bit mad. I'm like, no. I feel like she was on the cusp of being the lead female heel. Yeah, she lost to Raquel Gonzalez, but she didn't need to be. It's kind of like with Eric Young after the League of wherever his group was, the World Elite. He banged his head. Yeah, he banged his head on the guardrail, and then he went crazy. And I was like, no. Don't give him a kooky character. He was on the upward trajectory. He's leading his own little group, and now he's comedy fodder. And that's Dakota Kai. She's another one. She's been there for too long, guys. She's gone through multiple character journeys and iterations. And unless she brings up a mannequin head, a toy horse, or a mop, this character is not getting over for me, guys. And she's sucking out the awesomeness of Wendy Choo. Let Wendy Choo fall asleep and randomly appear in other segments. Aligning Dakota Kai in this version, I'm not feeling it. Is you can tell she's not feeling it. She's acting. You know when you can see someone's acting, that's how you know it sucks. I shouldn't. It's kayfabe. You should make me believe you are cuckoo bananas. She's not cuckoo bananas. She's faking time so she doesn't go up to the main roster. I'm not feeling it, Tempest. I'm not feeling it at all. And also, Io Shirai seems to like Kaylee Ray more than Zoe, and I would too.
Very much.
Yeah, they got more in common. Zoe seemed like she was a beg friend. You don't want to be so.
Listen, if we get Zoe Stark back on the show, if she heals up and is ready to go, have Io and Kaylee Ray be a team, win the tag titles, turn on Zoe Stark, turn heel, easy. They like, why would she hang out with Zoe Stark? There's so many directions to take this conversation, and honestly, the one thing I will say Now with the benefit of hindsight, because at the time everyone saw it's like, oh yeah, it makes sense, solid storyline, whatever. With the benefit of hindsight, I don't see why we couldn't have Dakota Kai have beaten Raquel as opposed to Mandy. If this is like the title reign that we get from Mandy, and this is what we get out of Dakota Kai, like I think Dakota Kai could have had a nice little run with the NXT title there for a while. I think that could have been, yeah.
She could have led Toxic Attraction. That, for me, would have made more sense. My friend Bodyguard, she kind of betrayed me. Now I got just 2 new rookies. They're under me, And then, of course, Toxic Attraction members, GG and JC, they have to be worried because Dakota's got a history of turning on partners. That would have been a great kind of storyline thread they could have done across. But now, I can't do it, man. She's someone that shouldn't be there. Put in the main roster, put in a tag team with Shotzi not doing anything. Please save Dakota from this. When I see her, I want to fast forward the scene because I'm like, her acting's gonna be atrocious. No offense to her, she could play a heel character, but not crazy. Whatever. Now she's a tweener. Now all of a sudden, it's like,
Oh, this is a fun show. We had the A-Kid versus Kushida match, the qualifying match for the qualifying match. For the winner would face Grayson Waller. Another fun match. There were a lot of like kind of short, pretty simple matches on this show. This was like the technical wrestling grappling match, which again, we didn't get entrances, but we've already talked about that. It's fine. But A-Kid and Kushida, if you had to pick like a first opponent for A-Kid, I think Kushida is about as good a pick that you could have. That being said, I don't like seeing Kushida lose matches on this show because it's Kushida, but I also know what I'm watching, so I don't get like super wrapped up about it. Because it's better that he's losing to A-Kid than like Zion Quinn or something. You know what I mean?
I feel like
I like Zion Quinn. But
I like Zion Quinn if he was an actor. He's got a great voice. When he talks, I'm like, yeah, mate, you could do a voice of a narration of my life, but he's still got lots to do to go in terms of his finding himself. Even though right now I can buy him as a babyface, potential babyface, headliner for NXT. He just needs more seasoning. Kushida, he's another one. He's been in NXT. It's gonna be a recurring thing. Being there for too long. Should have been on the main roster because the main roster is kind of short on people at the moment. And you see guys like Kushida. Okay, you want the cruiserweight titles now defunct. Are you gonna win the North American title anytime soon? No. Tag team titles, maybe, but that's just tacking on more time, like Io Shirai. They're just wasting their times. Put them on the main roster already. Like you said, I'd rather Kushida lose to A-Kid than someone like Duke Hudson.
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. They had a good match, and I don't know if this is going to be like his regular finisher, but A-Kid won with a springboard moonsault DDT, and I like that move. I've always liked that move. I like that move when AJ Styles does it into a reverse DDT. I think it looks real sharp. We had Legado del Fantasma, blah, blah. Words are hard. They met Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio backstage, and they all argued about who's better. This was particularly poorly scripted. But this is also where I was like, is this Tuesday Night Raw? Because my other choice for what to title this podcast was Tuesday Night Raw, because we had Miz, we had Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and then we had the Mysterios. And I was like, wow, they're really leaning into this main roster integration thing. And that led to the match that we got, I believe. No, there was another match before that. There was a couple matches before that, in fact. But the show's out of order already. Who cares? We got Dominik Mysterio against Raul Mendoza. And I said in my edited review, which may or may not have gone live yet at this point, I'm not quite sure. Of all the people involved in this segment, Dominik is the one that's on the main roster. That's kind of funky to me, And I like Dominik. I really like Dominik. I like, it's cute little Dominik Mysterio from SummerSlam, I like seeing him wrestle on Raw. Like, that's cool. That's fun. But at the same time, I've been looking at Santos Escobar wrestle on NXT for like 3 years. And I'm like, what is he still doing in NXT? So this is where I really don't think it's developmental, like, at all. It's developmental in word only. But very quickly, the story of this match is, again, Legado del Fantasma getting involved, making things tricky. Then Fallon Henley, still wrestling random name generator, ass name.
Fallon Henley, guys.
Fallon Henley pulls Elektra Lopez off of the apron. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen are there to be like, stop messing around with that young boy over there. And then Rey Mysterio decks Santos Escobar, and Dominik hit the 619 and the splash to beat Raul Mendoza. There's a lot going on here. If it means we get Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar, I'm totally for that. Like, if that match is somehow on NXT in the next month, I will weep. I will weep at the prospect of that match. Otherwise, I was just kind of like, okay, it's in the middle of NXT segment.
No, I was going to ask you this question. I think you more or less kind of answered it. I was going to say, should have been like Rey Mysterio says, "Hey Dominik, we're going to visit the performance center," and just left him behind and just drove off with one breaker.
Like, he goes out to the parking lot and it's like the door won't open to the car. It's like, right? Oh, Dad, you got to unlock the car. It's like, well, I can't hear you. I gotta go. It just drives out of the parking lot. That's tremendous.
That would be great.
That's awesome.
I'm with you because Dominik Mysterio, he's someone I've seen. Like, I used to have the Rey Mysterio DVD, so I remember when Dominik was like a little tiny kid with action figures. He's, like, I've seen him grow up on camera. He's fundamentally sound in the ring. Like, everyone else agrees, his character work needs work. That's because I'm mad at they didn't do the trajectory that Rey Mysterio told us. He's meant to be Prince Mysterio. They've got the name. Because now he's rocking the 03 Eddie Guerrero mullet. Don't mind it, but that's like the only character development we've had with Dominik. Mm-hmm. He's rocking his kayfabe dad's hair from 2003 when he was United States champion. I want him to wear a mask. He obviously doesn't have the physical charisma to carry off not wearing a mask and being a character. He comes across as Eric Watts 2.0, which is sad to say because he's actually more talented.
Reference too. Holy God, let's go, Sat.
Guys, I know my wrestling.
Reference. Deep dive.
Listen, if you know wrestling,
after my own heart,
dude. Listen, he's coming across as David Flair when he's more talented than that. Dominik Mysterio is super talented, I believe, because when Rey Mysterio said Dominik is the one to carry on the legacy, and they went Dominik, I was like, guys, do not disrespect Dominik. He has potential. He just needs the glitz and the glamour. He needs the mask. I'm not even lying. Once you give him the mask, it's kind of like those teen films from the 90s. Take off the glasses. Oh, she's a stunner. Put on the mask. Oh, he's a great wrestler. I knew he was great. He just needed a mask, guys. That's what it is. Give him the mask. Give him the mask.
That's all you need. That's all you need, folks.
Tempest will tell you. Give him the mask.
Honestly, at this point, give him the mask. Waited that long. So we had Tiffany Stratton attacking Saray. We've more or less kind of gone over that already. She didn't get to do her anime entrance, and she got absolutely squashed, beaten with that twisting Vader bomb. We had the backstage interaction between Walter and LA Knight, which apparently is setting up a match between them. Maybe at the big show, the pay-per-view. I don't know what to call it.
I don't know how to feel about this, by the way, Tempest, because by the way, Gunther, I'm gonna say Gunther. I know you.
It's not happening. It's not. I'm not letting it. No, I'm not letting this happen. I'm not letting this stand.
Hey, equal rights, man. I'm not calling him Eli Drake, LA Knight, and Gunther backstage.
I'm still calling this man Pete Dunne. I'm gonna be like, no, you know what?
He's Bushwhacker Butch, okay? 2.0. Yeah. Butch Jr. Okay, Gunther. Okay, LA Knight has lost so many matches. Gunther said that you are disgracing the mat, which he finds sacred, wherever that means. He prays in the ring, maybe. It's religious for him. LA Knight has been losing his feuds. I don't want that to happen. He needs victories. I don't like it when it's so telegraphed. This guy's going to lose. I need like when Solo Sikoa, at least I can almost he might beat Gunther. We know it's not going to happen, but there's that small. But when you see LA Knight, man, you lost to Grayson Waller, you lost to Dolph Ziggler. He's got no heat. Yeah, he's great in the CWC, but I'm waiting for him to see in Stand and Deliver if he's over, because I don't see CWC as an indicator if you're over. I want other people that don't live in Florida to chant. Then I'll hear if he's over. He's over with me. I've always been an Eli Drake fan. I think he should. He's one of those guys where you're like, he's world champion material. But since, WWE, we don't know what they like anymore. I don't know. He's 39 as well, guys. If it's 10 years ago, he's 29. I'd be like, this guy's the future. He's got it. But he's 39, guys. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. But yeah, Gunther is going to smash him to smithereens. Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it at this point. We had an in-ring promo from Tommaso Ciampa where he talked about how he's been in NXT for a million years. And he said that he's been there from DIY to being tag champions to being the Blackheart. to being the greatest NXT champion of all time. And you know what? I stand by that. I stand by Tommaso Ciampa as the best NXT champion. That is
Really?
my opinion. Yeah, it's just like I don't think there's a slam dunk answer for NXT champion, and I think Tommaso Ciampa is like a really really good one. So
I'll put him in top 3.
Yeah, I've hitched my horse to that wagon, and I'm just like, you know what, him. Until there's someone significantly better, I go with Tommaso Ciampa as my answer.
Wow. I don't have one, so we'll let it stand. For now, guys, it's interim official. Interim official. Tommaso Ciampa is the greatest of all time until we can think of something better. I'll make up Finn Balor. As they say. CWC sucks. He came out, they start saying Ciampa sucks, and I was like,
what was that about?
Did Ciampa do something in the last couple of minutes that we didn't know about? And then of course, please don't go or wherever. And I was like, you guys suck so bad. You can't make a decision. You cheer for the Miz. I don't mind the Miz, but still, it kind of shows the barometer of suckiness that crowd is, because you can't take anything seriously in the CWC. Tommaso Ciampa came out, did his promo. It seemed to be like his swan song. And then Tony D. Hey,
Tony D'Angelo, forget about it, huh?
He is after Fugazi Italians, because Tommaso Whitney, I don't know any Italian surname Whitney, but his first name's Tommaso. What's that about? So he's come for the Fugazi Italian, and he's trying to take him out. I'm of two minds of this. Fresh matchup, always a plus for me. But at the same time, Grayson Waller is there, because I don't know. We're not mentioning Gargano's name, but I feel like there's reason for Gargano for Ciampa to go after Grayson Waller, or Grayson Waller to be like, I took out the other guy.
Sure.
Let me take out the rest of DIY. Be a completist. That for me make more sense than Tony D'Angelo. But then he wants to be the dawn of NXT, and there's no one there from that time for him to beat, which I understand why it has to be Tommaso Ciampa. But part of me feels like it should be Grayson Waller for that reason. He's got a bit of storyline there, Fred, for Ciampa to lean into. And also, why is Ciampa a dumb babyface? You darn well saw that the crowbar's on the floor. He now wants to be respectful and like, yeah, man, I'll shake your hand, because that was not going to lead to anything stupid. Tempest, what's up with your boy? I mean, he's smarter than that, no?
I would think so. And I want to get into the second half of this promo, though, because Ciampa starts talking about how he wants his own like fairy tale ending. He's heavily implying that he's going to leave NXT. That's heavily implied here. And he's like, well, what could my final fantasy be? And he was like, I really would have liked to have defended the NXT championship at Stand and Deliver. And I was like, that would have been really great for you to say at any point during your like 5-month reign. Not even that long. It was like 3 or 4 months late. But he had no motivation as a character. And I said when he won the title that it should have felt like a really big deal. Like Tommaso Ciampa is winning the NXT championship back. And now it feels like we're getting the promo that would link that whole storyline thread together. Like, he is the lifeblood of NXT. He was the best NXT champion, or one of them. He was this top level guy. Now he wants to go out on top. That's great. I really like that. I just wish we could have heard anything somewhat similar to that, like since the start of NXT 2.0.
I'm with you. The motivation's there, but it's come a bit too late. I mean, by the way, he didn't fight to survive then either. I mean, the songs were Fight to Survive, and he let himself open. That's like a rookie mistake. That's something you expect from Dominik Mysterio, not Tommaso Blackheart Ciampa, who's should be DTA. That's the thing I didn't really like. You saw what he did to Pete Dunne. You know what a crowbar means, and yet he let the guard down. That's kind of like to indicate that he's past it, that he doesn't have the killer instinct. Will next week be like, I let my guard down, now I need to be Blackheart again, now I need to put face paint on myself or whatever. Maybe maybe it's done on purpose. Maybe we're going to see a transformation for the match.
I don't know, something about this segment was where I was like, I feel like Tony D'Angelo's a step down for the sake of this story, kind of the same way that you would bring it up like Grayson Waller, where I just kind of was hoping they would go a bit of a different direction. I was also thinking that you could do like Dolph Ziggler against Walter for the NXT title, and do just Braun Breaker against Tommaso Ciampa in like a more or less a rubber match. You know, just do like another singles match as his send-off or something like that. There's a bunch of different things you could do. I just wasn't super sold on Tony D'Angelo, but they've still got time.
Tempest, do you really want another Bron Breakker and Ciampa match? Not that they were bad matches. It's just like I've had my fill of their frenemyship. Sometimes friends.
I feel like if this is the end, though, if this is like the end of Tommaso Ciampa, I would have at least liked to like tie that story up in a little bow, like have that be like, here's the proper passing of the torch. NXT is in your hands now. I'm a hit the road, but sort of feeling.
That's the thing. I feel like they did do it, and then he came back the next day, which was quite awkward. Ciampa's still here. Does he know he should go? I feel like they did do it. It's just that they didn't move him on. I feel like it was he won the title, he shook his hand, then he became his buddy, then he wore his singlet, then he stuck around. I think they undid it. It's kind of like it's the end of the films. Where's the credit? There's an extra scene.
It's the Return of the King ending. It just won't stop.
Yeah, so I feel like I get why you feel like that, because I feel like we've got the conclusion. It's just that there is the longest epilogue going. It's kind of like, you do know that you should have, like, you got a new song, you dyed your beard, you obviously should go by now, but you know, you should be called Tommy Chapman next week or something like that. Introducing Tommy Chapman.
I'd rather not.
Hot Black. Tommy Chapman.
Oh, Lord. Well, next we got that really weird match that we talked about a little bit already with Indi Hartwell and Persia Pirotta, where they came out and did the same entrance. It's been a while since I saw like a tag team make their entrance at the same time. It's like the Hardys from Vengeance 2001, where they just like they never stop playing the music. One of them just comes out, they do the entrance, and the music's just still going, and then the other one just comes out like, okay, and go. This one didn't even have time for that. They sent them both out at the same time.
That was in my notes. Legit, I thought Vengeance, but in my notes, I was like, I preferred this entrance than what they did with Matt and Jeff. For me, it makes sense. I don't know. I feel like it's being the most realistic portrayal of friends having a squabble, because it's a squabble. It's not a blood feud.
They haven't broken up yet.
So for me, it makes sense. I'm your friend, but you're kind of annoying me. Is our entrances come out together, and I liked how they're trying to one up each other in the entrance. And you know, they got great charisma. Persia Pirotta and Indi Hartwell, great charisma, great banter. You can see the friendship shine through in the interaction. The match wasn't on for very long, but I liked you had two strong Aussie Amazon just bumping shoulders for a few minutes, and then we've got the creme de la resistance, the true American Pie NXT 2.0 moment by the promoter of the year, book of the year, Michael Hickenbottom. We had dual kiss-offs. What did you think of that, Tempest? It's just
they had a smooch off. They sure had a smooch off. Because, there wasn't much to this match. The crowd was, like, especially dead for this. Like, you could have heard a pin drop. And there was like one point in the match where I forget what exactly happened, but one of them like shoved the other or like pushed the other's face or something like that. And you can hear like the slider go up for the crowd noise, just be a whoa. It's back to total silence afterwards. I was like, come on, guys, you could at least blend it in a little bit better. But yeah, Duke Hudson distracted Indi Hartwell, and then Dexter Lumis came out and distracted Persia Pirotta. Indi Hartwell got to roll her up, and then they all just started smooching. This could have turned into a very not PG show in a hurry, but between Tony D'Angelo kissing Tommaso Ciampa on the cheek and being like, I want to beat it down now, which is, I feel that. And then there's a lot of kissing going on NXT.
I'm not a demographic, so if Sat of 2003-4, I'll be like, yeah, I'm into that. But I'm older now. You know, you know what? I've got a question. Duke Hudson, talking about fall from grace, because this guy was in the breakout tournament. He was in the finals, right? I mean, Carmelo Hayes is now hitting his stride. Was he in the semi? No,
he was in the semis, I believe.
He lost.
The final was Carmelo and Odyssey Jones.
That's it. He lost to Odyssey Jones. Yeah. So see someone like where Carmelo Hayes, you know, he's you can't see my hands. That's how high he is. And then you got Duke Hudson, or I like to call him Australian Wade Barrett, but just because of the height comparison, and he's got minimal charisma because Wade's got more. I don't like this spot for him. I can't really stand the guy. to be honest. I didn't stand him as a poker chip guy. I couldn't stand him as a tag team member with the other guy that's gone. I just yeah, the other guy that left from the mighty, from Almighty, the Almighty guy, the Shane Ford.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Shane,
that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Shane, see, out of mind, out of sight. Yeah, I'm getting in there. I don't know, because Duke was apparently Vince sees something in him.
Of course, he's tall.
But that reminds me of another wrestler that Vince saw something in and didn't progress far. Mojo Rawley. He's like the new Mojo. You hear that Vince thinks he's the future of the company, but what we're seeing on screen screams future endeavored in a couple of years, because Grayson Wallace now the Australian of that, which I didn't see coming. I thought Duke is the guy because the way they're trying to push him, but Duke is I'm sorry, he can be a prop.
Boring.
He can be a mop. Anyone could be Persia Perota's smooching buddy. He's just there. At least Dexter can use the thumbs up. Dude, what do you think of Tempest? What is your what do you think of him? Has he got potential? Will he be the guy? Or is he gonna be like Mason Ryan or something?
Oh God. I mean, that's a very Jackson Andrews, perhaps. There's very low bars to try and leap over. I think he's got more potential than something like that, but I totally agree. And it was only like a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, where he was beating up Dante Chen after Dante Chen's like return promo package. And I was like, okay, well, you put that off a week. Let me see Dante Chen then get revenge on Duke Hudson. And Duke Hudson squashed him, and we haven't seen Dante Chen since. And I was like, you're putting your emphasis on the show on the wrong guy. Because like that, Dante Chen's whole arc, without getting into the whole song and dance of it, like it's more interesting than Duke Hudson being bald, which is his whole character since he lost to Cameron Grimes. Like, oh, I'm bald and I'm sad. Now I'm angry and now I'm kissing Persia Prada. Like, there's been no focus for his character. Like, he was the poker guy, then he was the bald guy. Now he's the other Australian guy to kiss if you're Persia Prada. So I don't get it. And I agree with you. Like, you can be just about anybody and be Persia Prada's thing, but I don't know. He needs a lot more work before they put this much emphasis on him during the show. Is my thought.
I'm shocked because you can just give him, Robert Stone as his manager, or he could be in a tag team, with everyone's favorite.
God. If you start with the tag team of Von Wagner and Duke Hudson, I'm turning the show off. I'm not going to make it to next week. I'll be like, no, you can host yourself.
We can call them the Kings of Wrestling. Kings of Wrestling. They're both 6'5". The Kings of Wrestling.
The Kings of Wrestling. That's right. Sorry, Claudio.
Chris Hero. They could be like the new Razor and Diesel. It's like you wanted indie wrestling.
Von Wagner being the new Diesel does kind of fit. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't see it either. I keep saying he's from a Beverly Brothers lineage. Beverly Brothers and Steiner Brothers had a Royal Rumble 93 feud. I'm ready for the rubber match between Bron Breakker and Von Wagner. Just give the Genius a call. Make the Genius the manager of Von, Beverly, and do the poetry. It's there. I could do a better job booking Von Wagner because he doesn't have it. Make him a caveman. Vince, you love funny crap. Just say that he's been in ice for 50 years and now he's going to come and take on the roster.
Von Wagner wasn't even on this show. We're still talking about him.
It was
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. The Creed brothers came down to the ring and they had a little in-ring promo that they said they wanted to confront whoever attacked them. They needed them to step up, be men. MSK came out, which I thought was just going to be like, yeah, we did it. Deal with it. But no, they were like, we didn't do it. I almost guarantee that MSK did it. They're the only ones that benefited from it last week.
You think MSK did it? You think it's the heel turn coming?
I do. They're the only ones that benefited from not facing from the Creeds being attacked. They got a title shot last week.
I'm with you on that. I think
I was pissed off for the Creeds in this segment because they were like, "You did it," and they were like, "No, we'll give you a shot after we win the tag team titles." Like, who are you? You lost in the tournament,
right?
I was totally on the other side of the baby faces. I was like, "No, you did not get the first tag title shot here. Who do you think you are?"
Tempest, can we talk?
MSK.
Can we talk about Diamond Mine for a moment? They're baby faces, right? They're feuding with other heels.
I suppose so. I didn't
The
get the
manager-
memo that they turned, but I like the Diamond Mine more than I like the other people.
But I used to say the Creed brothers are a couple of Charlie Horses, which I still agree.
Uh-huh.
There's still a couple of Jack Swaggers in some degree. They
I like them better than Jack Swagger.
I do too. I was just making. There are a couple of Charlie Horses at the moment in the charisma department. But yeah, the shorter Creed, he must have watched a lot of 80s promo because he came out shouting, "We'll take over!" Oh, suplex you! I'm all American. Where I use my title?
He was very energetic. It's true.
He was
very energetic.
I loved it.
Yeah, MSK basically said that the Creed brothers could get their shot at their tag team titles when they win in, and I was like, that's not how that works. But they were both interrupted by Imperium. Imperium said that let's do a three-way at the big show. I don't know why heels keep suggesting three ways in this company. It's happened a lot. Like it was Cora and Raquel and Mandy. Like that was Mandy's idea, and now we're getting it again here. I'm just like, where is this coming from? Why are they doing that? But regardless, that is the tag title match for the big show. I keep calling it the Stand and Deliver.
Stand and Deliver.
Takeover. Just call it a takeover.
No, you'll be mad. You'll be mad if it's called a takeover because you'll be like, it's not worthy to be called takeover. So let's accept it.
Call it something else then. Like it's gotta be called something.
It was called Stand and Deliver last year. That's the only thing they've inherited. I'm with you on that, because I'm not keen on. I like something Cade, something Mania Palooza.
Right. Branding. They love branding. How have we not attached the new name to whatever takeovers were?
Yeah, give it 2 Pointer Palooza or 2 Pointer Mania.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
give me something.
Stand and Deliver. What is Stand and Deliver? Is that American term? I don't understand. Is this like a slang thing? Because I'm being English, as you can tell from my accent. Didn't buy it from Amazon, I promise. It's NXT standing. Okay, I stand. What do you deliver? The action. What do you deliver? Promos. What do you deliver? Food. Someone clue me in the chat. What is Stand and Deliver to you? What does it mean to you? We're gonna,
what are they delivering? They're standing up. They're delivering something. What are they delivering? Let us know. Let us know in the Ultrachats. Because
why do they have a star on their logo? What is Stand and Deliver?
Texas. I don't know. That one I can answer. It's Texas. Kevin Owens is right. Texas is dumb. And that pretty much wraps up the show. The only other things here that we didn't have talked about already, we had Cameron Grimes being depressed backstage, letting everyone down. That's very sad. And then we had Malcolm Bivens confronting Malik Blade and Idris Inoue, who alerted that they did not attack the Creeds. They were instead beating up people for the honor of Mandy Rose or something. Okay. And they also had the Grizzled Young Vets there, and the Grizzled Young Vets said that they didn't do it, but they will face the Creeds next week because if they beat them, the closer to title contention. That sounds like a very fun match. I like that. And with that, that brings us to the main event of Dolph Ziggler versus LA Knight, which we talked about at the beginning of the show. That wraps up NXT. Sat, a score out of 5. What did you think of the show overall?
Out of 5. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
I also gave it a 3. It was one of those just kind of like middling episodes where, again, I say this a lot. There's a lot of episodes of NXT and other shows like SmackDown, whatever, where you've got like really solid, good main event matches, really fun stuff, and then you got the middle of the show, which is just like Cora Jade going and playing Mousetrap with humans and stuff. Like, Cora Jade might be Jigsaw for all I know. She might be Kevin McAllister. Regardless, I thought it was a 3 because this show was like a lot more like just toe the line, mid-level show. Some solid matches, like the A-Kid match wasn't very long. Dominik Mysterio match wasn't very long. Santos Escobar match wasn't very long. It was all right. It was fun. Nothing I would ever go out of my way to see again, though.
But what are you hoping to see next week? What plot development are you hoping is carried over on the next episode?
Let's talk about plot on NXT. My goodness, that is I don't know. I'm interested in seeing this Creed Brothers Grizzled Young Vets match. I think that should be very fun. I like both of those teams. Honestly, I just want to see like promos from the people who need to cut promos to build up Stand and Deliver and have the rest of the show just kind of like come together. Like if we get more qualifying matches, like 2 qualifying matches a week for like the last 2 weeks before the show, that should help like get rid of those nothing matches and put the actually interesting matches on the show. And once we've got matches with stakes, like honestly, you put matches with stakes on NXT and the quality of NXT just like shoots straight up. like immediately.
It just come to me. What if Cameron Grimes is going to get a last chance qualifier match and he's going to end up winning it? Because that's the only way
I like that.
the storyline can redeem itself. Because why are we watching Cameron Grimes saying, I'm a fat piece of shit. I can't get you know, that promo. I'm a fat piece of, I don't have what it takes anymore. You know, why is he taking his ball going home kind of thing? I'm hoping that this is like, you know what? Cameron Grimes been there for a while. I've all the guys, because Carmelo Hayes, you know what? Carmelo Hayes can have a title run for 6 months. He can do it. He can make it work. But he's also someone that you want to jettison to the main roster because post WrestleMania season, they need new toys to play with in Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, or knowing WWE, Carmelo Hayes sans Trick Williams because they like ruining.
No. Knowing WWE, Trick Williams.
Who, by the way, we finally found out tonight. Trick Williams owns more pair of pants that are not leather. He's wearing jeans tonight. I noticed that. I'm one of those people who notice minutiae details of wrestlers' entrance gears or music. Yeah. So yeah, I hope Cameron Grimes is going to do a last qualify against Kushida or whoever loses in their qualifying match, so that way he gets to be in it. Because I feel like he's the not only one, but he's the one you would root to win because of that storyline they're currently doing. Even though we wrestling fans don't root for sad sack baby faces. It's never been a thing.
Never, not once. I think that's a really good idea, though. I would like to see them do something like that. Let's get into the rest of your Ultra Chats. Just the last few here that we're going to clean up before the end of the show. This is the last call for Ultra Chats, so make sure you get them in now. If you haven't already, that's WrestleTalk.com/support. Any that are $5 or above, we're going to read them out now, so get them in while you can. Mayor of Painesville, Dan, hi Dan, says, look at this phenomenal team. Look at them, Titans of Podcast. Tempest, Sat, Indi, God damn it, pal. Ahem. A-Kid, please come back to WXW. You would like that, wouldn't you, Dan? Wouldn't you? You're not having him back. He's ours now. And Zoe Sung has submitted, I know it didn't end well, but other magical girl gimmicks have been great. Also, I can really get behind silly things. I'm chaotic evil. And then also says, I don't want to sound mean, but Dom has the personality and charisma of a mid-2000s first-person shooter main character. I want to like him, but he's just blah. Someone's got to dress up Dominik Mysterio as Master Chief now for me. Please and thank you. I would like to see it. But that does wrap up our Ultra Chats for today. So I believe, unless all things change and my head goes out the window, we should be back at the same time next week as we start to integrate this lovely chap along with his actual co-host SP3, and I think I might just tag along one last time next week, have a little 3-way podcast and send you guys off on your new maiden voyage. Until then, of course, Sat, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lovely time. Wonderful conversation. I can't wait to see what this show is like with just you and SP3.
Chaotic. Chaotic. I'm known for chaos.
Oh yeah. Big old fan of chaos. But until then, this has been the WrestleTalk Podcast. So make sure, of course, you give us a like and subscribe and click any of the videos that pop up on screen if you're watching on catch up. Until then, I've been Tempest. He's been Sat. No, other way. He's been Sat, and I will watch you on Quizzlemania. No, you'll watch me on Quizzlemania. Watch Quizzlemania. Bye.